motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now fuck him. Fuck that. Because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Haters gonna hate, and ain'ters gonna ain't.
That is not an actual thing.
What's good? What's good? What it do, fam? Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Shout out to all of our Facebook Live users. We're on Facebook Live right now. Make sure y'all follow us on the Facebook page. Also, shout out to all of our YouTube viewers as well. We are on YouTube Live as well. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram page at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast and also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. I'm your homie Trey Fraser. That dude over there is Maestro Styles.
Yes, sir.
What's good, man? We back like vertebrae. What's going on, man? What's going on?
You came up with that on your own, man?
Nah, man. Shout out to Trey from Naughty by Nature. That was a Naughty by Nature bar right there.
I'm good, man. The week, it's an early week kicking my ass, but we here. I'm glad we here to talk a little sports.
No doubt. And man, speaking of that, man, I wish I could just dig right into the sports talk, but man, I really gotta get into this stuff that's going on in Minnesota. We had another young black father, young black man get gunned down by police again in Minnesota. Rest in peace to Daunte Wright. Kid was only 20 years old, and it's just sad, man. It's just another. It's just another way they trying to wipe us out, man. It's crazy.
Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. Condolences to the family. Like you said, just another. I think what's important is that we don't become numb to this. That we don't treat this as just another thing that happens. Like, this is not okay, and we should let everybody know that this isn't okay. This ain't okay, and this shit's got to stop.
Yeah, killing right is just not right. It's just killing black people, period, by the police is just not right. I don't like the excuse of I thought it was the taser and then your gun goes off. I don't like that excuse. That's
I don't
just
like it.
And I'm not known to how they train officers and things like that, but I damn sure know that a gun outweighs a taser. I do know that. I know a gun is in a different shape than a taser. So that's just, to me, that's just ignorance on the part. And I just found out a few minutes ago that officer did not retire, but she resigned as a police officer. As well as somebody else. I think it was maybe it was the police chief or somebody in Minnesota that resigned also. Certainly not a good look for Minnesota police right now, as this is. Go ahead.
Nah, my fault. Go ahead, finish your point. My fault.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say this is the third black man that I can remember in the last 3 years. I mean, you had Philando Castile. And if folks remember,
it's been more than that, but
more black people getting shot in Minnesota, you mean? Or
in Minnesota. Oh, in Minnesota specifically. Oh, okay.
I was saying Minnesota specifically.
Gotcha.
Philando
Okay.
Castile, that was the young man that was shot to death on Facebook Live while his girlfriend was in the car. And then you had, obviously, George Floyd last year. And now we have Daunte Wright, all within the same state. And I saw a stat that all these incidences happened within a 15-mile radius of the Minneapolis area. So it's certainly not a good look on the part of Minnesota police right now.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Daunte Wright, for sure. Condolences to the family, and like I said, we should know that, and they should know, the people who are doing this senseless killing, murder. They should know that it's not okay. I hope they don't think that resigning means that they are going to be exempt from public media scrutiny. Also, they shouldn't be exempt from criminal charges. So, they should get what's coming to them to the fullest extent.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And we get so caught up in, they should be fired. And, I agree with that sentiment that, don't resign, don't cower out, stand there like a G and just accept whatever's coming your way. But it doesn't.
You can resign all you want. All you want, as far as I'm concerned. You need criminal charges.
Sure. And that's the lane I want to get to is, criminal charges need to be brought down. And I think there's others that are just as culpable in all this as well. You look at the partners, of these situations, not, just standing there and not doing anything to kind of help diffuse the situation, It's just sad. It's just really, and I get upset. Every time I see this, I get upset. I watched the video that they showed last night on TV. I just couldn't bring myself to just be numb over it. You know what I'm saying? It really had me upset just looking at that. And
it's not okay, man.
And just to bring another incident to this, I know I'm focused on Minnesota here, but did you see the Army officer, the black Army officer in Virginia, get pulled over and got treated the way he was treated? Granted, his life was spared. So this was, I don't remember what part of Virginia, but cop pulls him over. He's an Army vet. The guy driving the car, that is, black man, Army vet, decides, you know what? I'm not going to pull over right away because it's too dark in the area. I'm going to pull over at this nearest gas station where there's lighting in the area so that everybody can see, something if something goes down. So he gets pulled over. He puts his camera phone on. He's filming everything that's happening. And the Army officer's trying to talk to the officer to say, hey, look, I didn't do anything. Why am I being stopped? And the cop is aggressive. He's like, yo, get your ass up out the car, get up out the car or whatever. And the dude is trying to, he's trying to sweet talk him like, yo, I'm not guilty of anything. I'm not doing nothing. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, the cop pepper sprays the Army officer in his face. And it's just another example of, we talk about this military thing, right? Like how, the military is supposed to protect, veterans and things like that. Well, I guess if you a black military guy, you ain't getting that same protection because, for a cop to spray an Army officer in the face with pepper spray, that's disrespectful. I mean, it's beyond disrespectful. It's beyond disrespectful.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, no matter whether you're an Army veteran or a famous billionaire or whatever you want to, whatever, like us. Still nigga.
Still a nigga. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Still looking at the skin tone.
We gotta
thank God he's alive.
Yeah,
thank God he was alive to tell the story.
For sure.
Kind of going back to.
Oh, I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if you was getting on sports or not, but rest in
I
peace
was.
to the.
Go ahead.
Rest
Go
in
ahead.
peace to the dog. Rest in peace to the dog, man. Oh man, rest in peace to the dog, man. DMX.
Where my dogs at?
Passed over the weekend, or last week rather. Rest in peace, man. 50 years old. I don't care nothing about how, why. Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace to Darkman X, DMX, Earl Simmons, however many of y'all out there know him. I think for me, I think what gets unnoticed about DMX, and I put this on my Facebook account, the day that I found out he passed away. I don't think people realize the impact that DMX had on the industry back then. I mean, think about this, right? So we got arguably two of the best MCs, in the mid 90s. You got Tupac and you got Biggie, and then you have this East Coast, West Coast thing, which was fueled by the media, obviously, cost both of these brothers their lives. And at that point, and I remember this because I was 14 years old, and we was on our way to high school then, and there was always that question about what was going to happen with hip hop, like in terms of, okay, who was going to carry the torch, or who was going to be that next crop of MCs, that's going to get carry the load. DMX played a pivotal part in that. 1998 drops the first two albums in the same year. Fire. 99 drops the third album. Fire. And I know you and I and a few of our homies, some years ago, we used to kind of joke about how X kind of fell off after, right around the Great Depression album, and then he came out with Grand Champ a couple of years after that. We kind of teased that a little bit, but this man had 5 albums go number 1 in the first week. Like that was a Billboard record. Like no other rap artist had done that. Not even Jay-Z. One of 2 artists as a whole, regardless of genre, to have their first 5 albums debut number 1. I don't think people realize also the impact he had with resurrecting Def Jam as a label. Yeah, because I think what went unnoticed while Pac and Big was kind of tearing up the charts was that Def Jam was hanging on by a thread. Aside from LL dropping a Mr. Smith album and maybe a couple other albums here and there, Def Jam as a label, they were hanging on by a thread. And DMX played a real part in helping resurrect Def Jam, along with obviously Jay-Z with the Rockefeller label. Murder Inc. came out. I know Redman and Method Man, they had a few albums come out on Def Jam, like around that whole 98 to 2000 period. Like Def Jam kind of put itself back, on the map as far as the label was concerned, with the help of distribution from, Rockefeller and Rough Riders and other labels. DMX was a big part of that. So yeah. I don't think people realize the impact that he had, not just, in hip hop, but on the industry as well. And so, once again, rest in peace to the great DMX. For certain.
When I think about DMX, and I guess I've had time to watch interviews and be on social media and watching people, react. Just obviously I don't know him personally, but from what he's seen, a real genuine person. You'd be surprised how many, local artists, I've seen, I can count at least 4 or 5 artists that I know from this area that has pictures, been in pictures. He take pictures with them. He rap for them. I seen DMX playing pool with one cat from the DMV that be that's rapping, that's still out here rapping. Yeah. He a genuine person. He'll talk to you if if the situation is right for him to talk to you. for as intimidating as he may seem, if you just watched videos and whatever, nobody really has a negative story about him being that way. He's just genuinely a cool dude to people's account. I mean, his relationship with God, even though he was constantly being tested by the devil every which way. Like his sense of perspective on life. He was just a genuine dude, man. He was a genuine dude. I would have to say that. I mean, clearly God took him, so clearly he served his purpose. But I'm confident just based on me looking at interviews and listening to him talk. He on Breakfast Club praying like he prays where he goes, even though he be saying, even though he talk about the stuff he talk about, like he a God-fearing man. I'm confident that God told him, good job, well done. I know I'm messing the quote up, real good, whatever the quote is that they say in the Bible that God should say to you when you meet him in heaven. But for certain, rest in peace. He lived a full life in 50 years, man. And he has left a legacy. I just hope that we continue to push his message, remember him as years go by, and that his masters go to his kids.
Yeah, I was so happy to see him do that versus with Snoop, even though it was a matchup that really just kind of came out of nowhere. But I was really happy to see him do that, just to kind of.
I was entertained by the way.
That,
I know.
It was very entertaining.
We talked about matchup, and we always talk about matchups offline. But I thoroughly enjoyed that versus. Maybe,
I did too.
Maybe more than a lot of them. Let me say that.
Yeah, no, that was one of the best verses of the ones that we've seen up to this point. I was so happy to see him, kind of in that environment. You know what I'm saying? It looked like he was in a good space. You know what I mean? And then
he was happy.
He was happy, and Swiss was working on his next album and things like that, which I hope gets released at some point. Within the next few months toward the end of the year. I hope we get to hear some of that. It was another thing that I had. You were mentioning, some of the interviews he was doing on Breakfast Club. Obviously, for me, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, comes to mind. I see that video surface almost once a week. But yeah, definitely insightful, especially with the Bible, man. I'm thinking to myself the other day, I'm like, man, this dude really could have been holding down some Bible study sessions, like on the real, like he could really hold down a Bible study session and carry it through.
Rest in peace, man. I know there's rumors going around about his publishing and his royalties and all that. There was a rumor that Jay and Beyonce bought, and which came out to be not true. But if emphatically, I just hope that his royalties, his all that stuff goes to his kids. If I hope that's being set up. That would be my only wish. Amidst the situation that's going on. Rest in peace to DMX, man. Legend. Go.
No doubt. And I do want to get this out of the way also because, right after hearing DMX passing away, a friend of mine on Facebook was saying that Black Rob ended up in the hospital. Yeah. And I saw the video on Twitter, and I just kind of had to shake my head because it made me realize like I forgot how late of a bloomer, and when I mean late bloomer, I mean the time his career kind of really took off. This dude's old. I didn't realize he's 52 years old. I didn't realize that. I thought he might have been maybe 5 or 6 years younger than that at that point. So I know he's dealt with high blood pressure in the past. I know he had a stroke within the last, I think, 6 years or something like that. So obviously he's having some health challenges, and I hope he gets well real soon.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I really hope he does.
Prayers to Black Rob. And then there's rumors talking about he homeless and all that. I don't know how much of it is true and how much of it isn't. But I'll just say, you know, like you're saying, prayers for his health and prayers for his situation.
No doubt. Yeah, so I was going to, right before you got to the DMX salute, I was just going to kind of go back to the Minnesota thing for a second and not so much highlight the incident, but there were 3 games in Minnesota that was supposed to happen last night, and every sports team decided that they weren't going to play just out of respect for Daunte Wright and his family. And I thought that was the right thing to do. And just to, you know, be honest with you, and as someone that visited that area once about almost 4 years ago, couple of those teams didn't have to do that, just kind of given the proximity of how far they play apart from each other. Because I know the Timberwolves came out and it wasn't the Timberwolves, it was the Twins that came out and said we was concerned for everybody's safety, because I think that was like a mid-afternoon game against Boston or something like that. So they was concerned about the safety of the people coming to the game because of the potential protesters in the streets. And so they made that, and they said, you know what, we're just not going to, you know, play the game. And then the Timberwolves come out and they say, we're not going to play the Nets tonight, just out of respect. And then the hockey team, which plays miles and miles away from where all that stuff, all the protesters were taking place, they didn't have to really cancel their game, but out of respect for forget the kid's name, Daunte Wright and his family, they decided, let's just join the party and just not play no games tonight. It was the perfectly right thing to do. So I'm cool with that 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. What you got?
Well, in minor news, James Conner is officially gone. He signed with the Cardinals. I don't know the terms. Don't know the terms of the deal. That leaves us with Benny Snell and Anthony McFarland, Trey Edmonds. You know, we don't have a great running back stable right now. So, I mean, you know, regardless of how people feel about drafting Najee Harris, if he's available at 24, or Travis Etienne from North Carolina at 24, or safety, however you, not safety, or a center with the 24th pick, however you feel. Yeah. I think we are officially in the runnings for a number 1 running back. So, and you know, I wasn't high on James Conner anyway. I think I was ready for him to leave anyway, but now that he's officially
like you
gone,
were at peace with whoever picked him up. It was going to be what it was going to be.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know if you're in the season. Last year I was critical, when really this year, not much has changed. Because the thing is that we know he has the potential to be a good back. I think at his highest potential, he could be a, you know, 11, 12 back, you know, best back in the league type of running back. But he don't stay healthy. And then, I mean, I'm not going to blame so much of this year on him because the offensive line was bad as well. But, you know, he don't stay healthy. I'll say this, if he can stay healthy, Arizona did get more dangerous. They definitely got a tad bit more dangerous.
Watch out for the Arizona Cardinals in 2021.
They did get a tad bit more dangerous if he could stay healthy. If he can, if he can give them 12 strong games, they are looking like the best team in the NFC West.
And Kenyon Drake is still there, right?
I think Kenyon Drake is still there.
Okay, so Kenyon Drake, James Conner, and I don't know who their like third guy is, but
Don't matter because
that's not a bad running back group.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, even with Chandler Jones, JJ Watt on they Buda Baker, Patrick Peterson is still a quality cornerback.
Patrick Peterson is not there no more.
Oh, he's gone? Where'd he go?
He went to the Vikings.
Really?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, all right. Well, forget that.
Which
Didn't know that.
I think is a good pickup for Minnesota.
Yeah. Sure. For Minnesota, yeah. Didn't know that though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
So James Conner, James Conner to Arizona. Thank you for your contribution. But and I hope he does well. I mean, he in a situation where he can thrive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I didn't have this in the notes, but because I've been talking about it so much on other platforms over the week. I wanted to get your thoughts on the Sam Darnold trade to the Carolina Panthers for a second rounder, a fourth rounder, and a 6th round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
So Teddy Bridgewater's gone. This is what it sounds like to me.
Yo, that
and it's bullshit. And it's bullshit. And it's bullshit. But it's bullshit. Let me be clear on that. It's bullshit. Would you agree that Sam Darnold has a higher ceiling than Teddy Bridgewater?
I would agree that he has a higher ceiling. Yes, that he has a higher ceiling. I don't
think he's better right now.
Exactly, and that's what I was getting to. I wouldn't say that Sam Darnold's a better quarterback right now than Teddy Bridgewater. Look, man, Teddy Bridgewater played solid last season. And had he had Christian McCaffrey for 16 games, they would have won 8 games. They would have went 9-7, something like that. If you noticed, and I've watched a little bit of Panthers football games last season, they were playing teams tough. Like, I know they played the Raiders in that opener really tough. It was like a 33-31 ball game, and they were right there. I know they played the Chiefs tough later in the year. They could have won that game if not for a missed field goal. And some of the other games, they was keeping teams tight. Like, they just needed a guy that could, break a game open. And if Christian McCaffrey is there, he could be the dude to do that. So for me, it's like, wait a minute. Why don't y'all get Christian McCaffrey healthy, let him come back, retain Teddy Bridgewater, and see how this team does? Instead, they're just kicking Teddy to the curb already.
Yeah. And then on top of that, where is he going to start? Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah. But he's still there. He's still in Carolina.
He's still there right now. I get that. But you would have to think that they have intentions on not keeping Teddy Bridgewater. I would think. Maybe they're keeping him because Sam Darnold's injury history. Maybe they will keep him because of injury history.
That would be smart.
But it would be smart. It would also be smart to keep him because if Sam Darnold doesn't pan out like you thought he might, you still got Bridgewater there. I don't like the idea of Bridgewater not starting. But I guess. Is it safe to assume that we know Sam Darnold is going to get the starting job? Maybe it'll be a competition.
Yeah, that's been talked about too between those two guys. And also what's been talked about is the Panthers still possibly might draft a quarterback in this draft. But I've kind of said that if they don't believe in Bridgewater, that they would probably be a team out to draft a quarterback. But I wanted Teddy Bridgewater to stay there. So the fact
and
that
like we said, he's still there, so it's not like we know that he's gone.
And who knows? Who knows? Maybe Teddy Bridgewater wants to request a trade or something.
Yeah, but then where could he start right now?
Right. Where
could he start right now?
Because let's face it, the teams that are like going to be drafting high, they got their eyes set on who they're going to draft as far as the quarterback position is concerned.
And that don't necessarily mean they're going. That don't necessarily mean they're going to get them. But I just can't right now, as rosters are constructed, I can't see where he is going to play. Maybe who's Chicago's quarterback again?
Andy Dalton.
Yeah, like,
and they are like steadfast that Andy Dalton's going to be the starter.
Yeah, so it's just I can't think of a team that needs a starting quarterback that Teddy Bridgewater could just straight up usurp.
Right. I was thinking about the football team, but they just got Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. I mean, and let's be clear, they didn't pay him a whole bunch of monies. I mean, they paid him number 2 money, and he's probably going to start.
Right.
But what's the point of bringing Bridgewater in if you bought Fitzpatrick in, and you still got Heineke behind him? Exactly. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense for him. Yeah, I just think it sucks for him that now he's in a competition with Sam Darnold for the starting job for Carolina. Well, I tell you, I will say this though: if it's a competition, I put my money on Bridgewater still. Sam Darnold might. I put my money on Bridgewater.
Sam Darnold might go out and kiss more girls and get mono again. Who knows?
Man.
Who knows?
Who knows, man?
But I think. But here's the other thing that I think about in terms of what Carolina gave up for Sam Darnold. I think this makes me more frustrated at the Houston Texans, and I'm not gonna go into the conversation about the case with Deshaun Watson. I'm not going there. Where I am going is that if we believe to find the Texans somewhat complicit of what's going on with Deshaun Watson in that case, then it's a bad business move because the Texans have no draft picks, right? They don't have no picks in the first round. I think they have maybe one in the second round and maybe none in the third round. I'll double check that, but they basically have no draft capital, right? Bill O'Brien basically sold the farm a year or two ago with getting a bag of balls for trading away the Andre Hopkins to Arizona, and getting back who they get back David Johnson. David Johnson washed up self. They just made some bad trades, and you figure if you're a fan of that team, Deshaun Watson is like your only asset, right? So the dude comes out and he says, I don't want to play for you guys. So in my mind, hey, Texans, go ahead and trade the guy away. He doesn't want to play for you guys. And he's a top 5 quarterback. You're going to get something valuable back for him if you're smart. So
not to bring up the whole situation, the whole case situation, but then what does that even look like now? Like who picks up?
It doesn't look like anything right now. Like
what does the compensation look good? Yeah. Like who's touching that right now? The answer is nobody. The answer is nobody's touching that right now.
Nobody's touching that. But
at least not for the compensation that the Texans would expect.
Right, but I'm just trying to paint a picture where, let's say this didn't happen, like the whole case with the sexual assault. Like, let's say this didn't happen, and we kind of believe that the Texans are a little complicit in this getting out. This Darnold trade happens. I mean, the Panthers basically kind of set the tone, right? Like, if Deshaun Watson is still valuable, then the Panthers kind of set the tone by giving up a second round, a fourth round, and a sixth round for a guy who hasn't shown himself to be a good quarterback his first 3 years. Right. Imagine what they could have got for Deshaun Watson after this Darnold trade. Man, if I'm a fan of that team, I gotta be just shaking my head right now.
Yeah, it's a lot to shake your head about in Houston. I leave it there. It's a lot to shake your head about in Houston.
I'm just thinking, man, they could have got maybe 2 or 3 first round picks or something crazy like that, man.
Yeah, it could have been crazy, but yeah, that's the Texans.
But here we are, right?
Yeah, here we are. So, irritating news.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard about this, but there is going to be a movie.
I saw this.
A family, and I have to believe it's going to be a family movie, like one of those, kid tearjerker.
One of those Lifetime movies.
Yeah, no, like what I'm trying to think of one one of them little movies where kids play football and the coaches has a
okay. Because the name of the movie that I think about is Little Giants. Do you remember the movie Little Giants?
I do remember it. Yeah, I do remember it.
That's the line of
okay
movie that I'm thinking about as you're talking about this.
Whatever the hell. They're doing a movie about what Sean Payton did while he was
suspended
during Bountygate. So y'all telling me that y'all, and look, you know what? You gotta try to find a way to make some money, I guess. But what the fuck? Like, why are we like?
What kind of plot is that? What kind of plot is that, though?
Next, we're gonna get a movie about what Mike Vick did while he was away. Like, what is this? Like we can't do that. Like, this is I don't agree with the sentiment. I don't agree with the sentiment. And then you know what this movie is going to do? This movie is going to make us forget about the fact that the only reason this movie was possible is because he was doing some grimy shit. Before it all happened. It's just like, come on, bro. Like, I'm like,
he was complicit in Bountygate.
Like, they're trying to, in a sense, rewrite history about what happened to Sean Payton and what he did when Bountygate happened. It's going to be all washed away in this movie. So it's like, especially if the movie does well, it's like I don't want to see it.
Who's playing Sean Payton?
Yeah, Kevin James. Look, and I like Kevin James as an actor, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
I'll be honest with you. I think they could have got somebody better. Like Kevin James doesn't resemble Sean Payton one bit.
No, but you know what? He is funny. So he's going to bring that little slapstick, that little family humor. Like I already see the play. It's going to be like one of those feel good family movies, and some white kid's going to jump in Kevin James's arms, and they're going to swing around to some beautiful symphonic music, and everybody's going to forget about the fact that none of this would have happened if he wasn't cheating.
Basically, or trying to take niggas' heads off.
Yeah, come
that's
on,
what
man.
Happened. Because that's what happened. They tried to kill
your
man. In that title game.
right. So it's just like,
let's not forget.
Come on.
Let's not forget who the architect of that defense was too. That was Greg Williams.
Greg Williams, yeah. I wonder who's going to play Greg Williams. Is Greg Williams going to get a role? Is Jonathan Vilman going to get a little
because he got suspended too, right?
Movie? Yeah, don't nobody care about what happened to Jonathan Vilma when he was suspended, or Greg Williams when he was suspended.
But Sean Payton, this is a feel-good story,
Yeah, they're going to turn tragedy into triumph, and we're going to forget the fact that he tried to kill Brett Favre.
Damn, Hollywood, I hate you.
Damn white people, I hate you.
Damn, yo. Yeah. I'm not feeling it. I am not watching that movie, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to try to remember it. I'm going to try to remember when it comes out I'll remember because I remember being irritated yesterday. Like, for real, that's what we doing.
I'm not going to watch it at all. I'm just going to shrug my shoulders and say, okay, it's there.
Julian Edelman retires. They said he got cut after he failed a physical, decided he didn't want to play football anymore if he couldn't play for the New England Patriots. Let's be clear, great career, 3-time Super Bowl champion. I think he has second most postseason catches and yards behind Jerry Rice or something crazy like that. But obviously, the Hall of Fame discussion started coming up, and I'll pose to you: is he a Hall of Famer?
No. No.
No, I agree. I agree.
Something has to count for regular season, right? So yes, he's got the playoff, yards and the catches and the touchdowns and all that stuff. And when you play with
And the
Tom
great
Brady all
moment.
these years, yeah,
And don't forget that great moment.
You're talking about against the Falcons, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, he's got all that, and yes, he does have a moment or two, in the postseason, but he was never a top 5 receiver in a regular season. Like nobody ever put them. I don't think nobody's ever put him in his top 10.
Well, is that the measuring stick though? I mean, he was for better or for worse. I mean, if you want to say Gronk was the number 1 receiver, I wouldn't argue with you. But by position, he was the number 1 receiver on all 3 of those Super Bowls, if I'm not mistaken. I take it back. I say he is a Hall of Famer, but he is not a Hall of Famer before the likes of Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Hines Ward. Is Hines in?
Hines is not in.
Okay.
But I did see somebody on Twitter today say that if they ever even thought about putting Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame, then you have to put Hines Ward in there.
And I think Hines Ward is a Hall of Famer. Maybe not a first. What do you call it? On the first time in. But I think he's a Hall of Famer, and that might be still his bias. You could argue me down on that.
I hate the Steelers, but the one thing I will give Hines a little edge over Julian Edelman is that Hines played longer, and he played longer for the same team, if I'm not mistaken.
And he played
he didn't
tougher.
play anybody else.
And he was better. He was a better wide receiver.
So, yeah, I'm not putting Julian Edelman in the Hall of Fame.
I put him there. Just he gotta wait. I
don't know, man.
He gotta wait. He gotta wait a little while.
I just look at have you been top 5? Of all the seasons that you played, he's never been categorized as the top 5, and he's played in an era where it's DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, AJ Green. He's played with a bunch of those guys that we said like year in year out. Those are top 5 receivers. He's never been a part of that conversation.
Is Wes Welker a Hall of Famer to you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, then,
and Wes Welker has had some better seasons than
Julian for sure. I was just gonna say, if you could put Wes Welker in there, I could see Julian Edelman getting in there. I just don't think he's a first ballot.
If that sets the tone, then they'll probably find a way to get him in there.
Because it sounds like how many slot receivers have been much better than the likes of Wes Welker and Julian Edelman?
Not a lot.
Off the top of my head. And as that starts to become as it's become more and more a part of the game, that's being able to line up in the slot and dominate in the slot. Right. There ain't many better to do it. Like I said, maybe not first ballot, and I don't think Wes Welker nor Julian Edelman is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think when you think about the slot receiver, them 2 white boys have been elite at slot receiver.
Right. Well, Stokely was pretty good back in the day. Brandon Stokely.
Yeah, another white boy, but I don't think he was ever Wes Welker caliber or even Julian Edelman
he wasn't
caliber.
Wes Welker caliber. He wasn't Wes
or
Welker
even
caliber.
Julian Edelman caliber.
But Stokely did have some good seasons.
I don't think he's ever been Julian Edelman caliber though.
Probably not. And I mean, he did bounce around some teams a little bit. He played for, I know he won the Super Bowl with the Ravens in 2000, and then he was with the Colts for some years, and then he was with Denver, if I'm not mistaken. So, and most of those years was with Peyton. So, I do got another hot take for you in regards to Julian Edelman. He might be a top 5 Patriot. Like in the franchise, his history, he might be a top 5 Patriot of all time. Yeah. He might be a top 5 player in that franchise's history.
Would you put him over Wes Welker as a Patriot?
Ooh,
I
that's
say
debatable.
yes.
That's debatable.
I say yes.
You say
I
yes.
Say yes.
Okay,
I say yes.
I'll say it's debatable, but we know Tom Brady's in the top 5. We know what's homeboy name on the NFL Network? Willie McGinnis. I think he's in there. Gronk, you got to put Gronk in there, right?
Gronk for sure.
Maybe a combination of Richard Seymour and Teddy Bruschi. One of those two guys.
Teddy Bruschi is for certain in there. Matt Vrabel is definitely in there.
Vrabel. Oh, Vinatieri. I forgot about
Vinatieri.
Vinatieri.
He's not in the top 5. Yeah, he's not in the top 5.
Vinatieri, you don't think he's in the top 5?
No. I'm saying Julian Edelman's not.
Oh, Edelman. Okay.
Yeah, Edelman's not. Yeah, I mean, you can argue it, but then you still got Ty Law.
Ty Law. Yeah,
he's not in there.
Right.
I mean, and then Troy Brown. How do you feel about Troy Brown?
I just thought about Troy Brown too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's in there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, some people might argue that Edelman over Troy Brown, but definitely not over Vinatieri, definitely not over Vrabel, definitely not over Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, Tom Brady, obviously. I mean, I don't think he makes it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
6 or 7 for sure.
Okay. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Britt Reed.
Yeah, that's where I was going next.
Got you.
But I wanted to give a shout out to Chief Rock of Jersey Vern and Deacon Dell in
what's happening
live chat group. So appreciate the support, fellas. Britt Reed finally has been charged with driving while intoxicated as a felony. It took too damn long in my book.
Yeah, for sure.
But finally, he's being charged with this felony. The accident was his fault, 100%. And I did get an update on the little girl. Still sort of in the critical condition. Still kind of brain shot, but still, keeping on. So just got to keep praying for the little girl there.
Yep.
But yeah, Britt Reed definitely is on his way to paying these penance, and should fullest extent of the law. Mm-hmm. That little girl was 5 years old. Yeah, man. That's just a sad story right there. But yeah. I did see someone tweet out that Andy Reid should be complicit in this, and I kind of disagree with that.
Complicit in this?
Complicit in, and I think what the person was trying to get to is that, remember, this was the same son that had problems when Andy Reid was coaching in Philly years ago. I think there was like a drunk driving case. It was another drunk driving case, and then there was something else I can't remember. And then if you remember, the brother lost his life to some incident,
some sort of alcoholism, some sort of alcoholism or something of that ilk. Yeah,
right. So I think what the person was trying to tie into is that his son had already messed up a few times in the past, and since he took the Chiefs job, and I don't know how long Britt Reed has been there, but Andy gave his son a second or a third opportunity to get his life straight, by coaching on the coaching staff. So this incident happens with the accident with the little girl, the weekend of the Super Bowl, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. The weekend of the Super Bowl.
Week of, yeah.
Right. And then people are calling for Britt Reed's head at the time, and I said that I thought Andy, while trying to coach this game, I just found it hard to believe that he was able to, coach the football game the way he did, despite the team getting blown out. But I kind of disagree with the person in saying that he should be sort of held accountable or held somewhat complicit, or maybe the right word is being an enabler. Maybe that's the word that maybe fits a little bit. But he's a grown ass man. Britt Reed is. Period. He's a grown ass man.
What could you possibly do to Andy Reid for hiring his son?
Yeah, you can't do anything.
What could you do? What can you do about that?
Nothing.
Yeah, hold it. I mean, yeah, because Maybe he was a good coach at whatever position, whatever he did for Kansas City or in Philadelphia as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was good. Maybe it's just nepotism. Maybe it is just that. But that's your right to do it. That ain't got nothing to do with
Absolutely.
when you leave the field.
Absolutely. And it's not, I don't want to classify it as a mistake, but it was a bad decision on Britt Reed's part, and it nearly cost someone their life. And it's about to cost him his livelihood as well. All it takes is one.
At least to some extent. To some extent. I mean, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to sit there and do no crazy time or nothing like that. I think he'll be charged. I think he'll even be found guilty. But I don't know that they're going to punish him to the fullest extent of the law. I think he'll get a sentence. He'll be back out before he's too old, and he'll probably be back probably will be back coaching football to some extent.
Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me.
But I don't know that he shouldn't work again because of what he did. I just think he should pay his penalty for what he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I'm not here to be like Britt Reed shouldn't coach football no more, or shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to say that he need to go sit down for a second to get his life together, because he almost killed a 5-year-old child, and you gotta pay for that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. In just smaller news, congrats to Eddie George on becoming the coach of Tennessee State University.
Yes,
so
sir.
Shout out to Eddie George for getting that job. Can we switch to some basketball now?
Sure.
Because this is disappointing. Last night, Jamal Murray goes down with an ACL against the Warriors. It was like 50 seconds left in the game, and we came down pretty hard on it, and so he's out. Yeah, like you said, he's out indefinitely. For me, he's out for the season. So.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are going to have to push forward without him. Question
Kills
for
any
you.
dark horse chances of going to the finals. If anybody thought they had a chance to maybe upset some folks and get it to the finals, I think that's officially done.
Yeah, that's officially done. But what I do think happens now is that I think Nikola Jokic's chances of winning league MVP become more greater now. And I know that when you look at the other guys,
becomes greater, or he has the opportunity for it to become greater.
The opportunity to become greater.
Okay.
Because now, I mean, he does everything for that team anyway, even with Jamal Murray there.
Define everything, because Jamal Murray scores points.
Jokic can score. I mean, granted, it's not the same volume as a Jamal Murray, but Jokic can score. He can shoot the three. He can pass. He's one of the better passers in the game. He can rebound. He can play, he can defend the boards that way. So that's what I mean by he could, he does everything, a little bit of everything, almost averaging a triple-double, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's going to buckle under the pressure. I don't think he's going to be able to. I don't think he's going to be able to. And I don't.
But
think
you're talking
for a
playoffs,
second,
though, right? You're talking playoffs.
I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think you're going to see a very big difference in the way this team looks without Jamal Murray. They're not going to be as explosive without Jamal Murray on the floor.
I agree with that.
There's not much more that Jokic can do. It has to be somebody else. And I mean, if you got Aaron Gordon doing it, maybe. I don't.
Michael Porter Jr. is there, right?
I don't get Michael Porter Jr. scoring, and that's no shade to Michael Porter, because he's a good player, good young player, but he's not going to pick up and score 25.
Well, I guess the point I'm trying to get to is that it's going to have to be a collective effort by some of these players. You mentioned Aaron Gordon, who just got traded there, along with Michael Porter Jr. Gary Harris still there, or did he go? I
thought he got traded, but I'm not. He went
in that trade for Aaron Gordon, didn't he?
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so yeah, it's really going to be a collective effort, but I agree with you that they're not going to be as explosive without Jamal Murray. But when I say that Jokic's opportunities to win league MVP, I'm not just talking about now, okay, he's the guy on the team. He doesn't have Jamal Murray with him now. Look elsewhere around the league. You know, Kevin Durant has missed some games. I had KD as a early MVP top candidate. LeBron has missed some games, obviously. Embiid went down with an injury a couple of weeks ago. I know he's back now, but he was a league leading MVP candidate for a portion. And then
I heard Stephen A. saying James Harden.
Right, and I was about to mention James Harden. He comes over in a trade to Brooklyn, and he's tearing it up, and there's a debate about whether he should be even considered. And I'm like, yeah, he should be considered. I get he was traded, but now James Harden is out with his hamstring, and it'll be another, I think, 5 days from this point to evaluate the hamstring. So who out there else is left as far as? I mean,
they seem to love to give. They seem to love to give Giannis undeserving awards, so maybe he'll three-peat.
But even Giannis has missed some games, and it's not because of injury, but just they've been resting Giannis.
Okay,
Jokic has played every game.
Yeah, you don't get MVP for playing every game.
Sure, but
that's just the facts. You don't get MVP for playing every game. You get it's politics. It's politics. It's being the best player in the league, to being the most valuable to your team. It's moments. I think one of the lowest factors as to whether you win MVP is you being available for every game. Nobody cares about that. It's about if you're playing over 70 to 75% of the season.
I think it depends on who. Like if LeBron played every game, they're gonna give him the MVP. If LeBron played every game, they're gonna give him the MVP because he's LeBron James.
No, I disagree. I disagree. If I don't think playing 82 games or what is it, 72 games, whatever it is this year, I don't think that's the end all be all. I don't even think that's a top 5 end all be all as to what would give you MVP.
I agree. It's not the end all be on. I do think it's a factor though. Like
I don't think it's a factor. I think there's a certain amount of games that you have to play, but I don't think it's a factor at all. I think if you play about 60% of the games, 65% of the games in a season, and you produce, that's all you need.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about 60%. 75%, I'll be like, okay. But
okay, well, I'm
just
okay. But whatever your threshold is, it certainly doesn't have to. I don't think maybe Kevin Durant has played himself out of MVP, like kind of because he hasn't been available. Right. I don't think LeBron has worn. LeBron should still be in the running based on games he missed. He should still be in the running. I don't think James Harden is I think James Harden is still a candidate. He's played enough in the league and enough in the year to be considered for MVP. Obviously, Jokic has.
Embiid should be considered.
Embiid should be considered. Don't see him or Jokic winning it, but they should be in the running for certain.
Mm-hmm.
And then then in a guard in a wing, like big men don't win MVP.
Yeah. I mean, I get Giannis is different, but
Giannis is a 3.
That boy, he play like a 4, sometimes a 5. I mean,
you could tell me, and no, he doesn't. He doesn't play like a 4 at all.
You don't think he plays like a 4?
No, I think he don't have a jumper, but I don't think he plays like a 4. I think he slashes and gets to the basket. That's not a 4 game.
Okay. Well, so April 13th right now, who's your league MVP right now?
I have no fucking clue, bro. I have no fucking clue. If you're making me make a decision, I don't feel like I really don't know. If you're making me make a decision,
see, you're one of those people, and just I'll let you know who my MVP is right now. It's Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, you've been saying it all year.
And I understand that there's a populace of the media that really don't want to give it to him. Like they don't want to give it to him. They acknowledge he's improved from last year to this year. They acknowledge that the Nuggets are a top 4 seed, but I do get the sense that media and people in basketball circles, they, for some reason, I don't know if it's because they play out west or, because it's the Nuggets, that they don't want to give this guy, or he's not as flashy as some of the other guys, running for MVP. Huh?
He is just as flashy. He is just as flashy. He just plays the 5, and nobody wants the 5 to win MVP.
Yeah. Well, but getting to my point, I think there's a consensus of people that don't want to give it to him, despite the fact that they acknowledge that this guy's numbers is, almost averaging a triple double, and the Nuggets are top 4 seed. You fall in line with them people. I think you in line with those folks.
I can't say that I'm in line with them people off the strength that I haven't watched enough Jokic this year. I acknowledge what he's done. Fair. I acknowledge what he's doing. But let's keep it a buck. They have been in the top 4 seedings for the past 2, 3, maybe 4 years. So that much hasn't changed. Yes, he's improved statistically, but the team, for the most part, looks the same. It's not like he's dry. It's not like his extra contribution is making them look like a challenge to even the Clippers or the Lakers or whoever you have being the favorites in the West. His extra contribution doesn't make them look like a team that could beat the best. They don't look like they're the best team in the West or in the NBA.
You can say that about a lot of teams, though, that have had the player that's won MVP. You can say that about a bunch of teams.
Well, I'll say this, but in regards to Jokic, to Joker, like I said, this team has been here. This team has been here for the past 2 or 3, 4 years. So, if it's just production, if it's just a bit better production, meaning he's almost averaging a triple double. I mean, let's be clear. His numbers have been, 20, 10 and 7 and 8, meaning assists, 7, 8 assists. So yes, he's getting those extra 2 or 3 assists. That's maybe get him to a triple double or close to a triple double, and that should be But I don't think him averaging an extra assist or 2, because that's essentially. I mean, maybe you can give. He's improving maybe 2 rebounds. I don't think it's improving 2 rebounds or 2 assists. Where your team is in the same position gets you automatically.
Like I get what MVP. You're saying. Like the numbers. I kind of get what you're saying. Like the numbers haven't it's not a drastic improvement. It's an
he's done better
nonetheless. Yeah, he's done better, but it's not like from the bottom to the top. You know what I mean? It's not this large gap. But I think it's like the team is on his back, but the team has always been on his back. So nothing has really changed. He's just having another great year. If there was an award for consistency, maybe he'd be in the running for that. But I don't see that automatically puts him at the top of my MVP, because he's just essentially doing what he's been doing every year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you could say that about a lot of teams. Let's say Embiid somehow wins the MVP this year. I mean, the Sixers for the last 3-4 years, they've been in this spot, the past 4 years with Embiid. So Embiid's numbers, and I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but I know he's improved his game, and the numbers are slightly better, but you're probably having the same narrative about Embiid and the Sixers than you are about Joker and the Nuggets.
Yeah, and he's a 5, and the 5 winning the MVP ain't sexy.
So this is about centers not getting the love.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last center? Shaq? Who's the last center
The
to win?
The last center to win MVP. Yeah, Shaq.
And you know how great Shaq had to be to win MVP.
Yeah. Garnett he wasn't a center though.
He
Garnett.
wasn't a center. Yeah,
Okay.
He was a power forward.
Okay.
And I mean, really, in his younger days, he was a 3.
But he did play some center. He did play some center.
Yeah, but he's not a center. He's not a center.
Sure.
There's no way.
I'm just thinking about really, and I think you're right to this point. Centers, in terms of winning the MVP, Shaq was like the last true center to win the award. But when I think about power forwards that can play the 5, Tim Duncan won an MVP if I'm not mistaken. Since Shaq, Garnett won league MVP since Shaq. I know Dirk is a 4, but I wouldn't necessarily classify him as playing the 5 per se. But Dirk,
he's played the 5. I mean, if that's the narrative you're going to run with, Dirk has definitely played the 5. But like I said, none of those guys are 5s. And even in the way they play basketball, they don't play like 5s. They play like 4s.
Right. Yeah, I'm just thinking about some teams like Utah.
It's just ain't sexy. I mean, it ain't really sexy for 4s to win it. But I mean,
sure. So, question for you. I'm looking at the top of the West. You got the Suns and you got the Jazz. Do you pick any one of those players off those teams and say,
nope,
somebody stands out as a league MVP?
Nope.
Man, I agree with you. I agree.
Like I said, more than as disgusting as it sounds, I wouldn't be surprised if Giannis 3-peat. Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. That's not my pick. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
I know. I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think he should have got it last year. So
yeah. Some I don't remember who I had last year.
Neither do I, but it wasn't Giannis.
But yeah, I'm just thinking about like the Suns.
I mean, if you're making me pick somebody that I like, making me pick somebody that I like, I guess give me Harden. LeBron.
Man, that's tough.
Right, and that don't even sound right. Yeah, it don't even sound right. I mean,
it doesn't sound right.
You're not the only person that feel like your Joker should be MVP. I mean, maybe he does get it. I just can't see it happening.
Yeah. Well, I did see on TV that Vegas has him as the favorite right now anyway to win MVP.
Sure.
But I think you're onto something when you say that there's a circle of people, particularly media and people in basketball circles, that don't necessarily want to give it to him because he plays the 5 and centers are I mean, look, they changed up the All-Star game format to basically take the center position away from the All-Star game. So you may be onto something there.
But I've been saying that for years. The center it's no point. They was too as disrespectful as it sounds. They legit want to, because centers are quote unquote slow. They want to run a gun. The up and down. They want the up and down. They want it to be a 200-point game.
Yeah, the center position is becoming the running back position in football.
I would say it's even worse than that. I would say it's worse than that.
Yeah, because at least running back, there's still some value there.
Yeah, I would say it's worse because the running game is still very necessary.
Still necessary.
People don't see as much value in the post game, a low post game. Be clear, as they do in other facets of a basketball game. It's just not there. I can remember Shaq it being thrown down and watch Shaq work. He either going to dunk on you or he going to get fouled.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's what they would do quarters 1 through 3.
I remember Hakeem the Dream. He had his move. You know, that one move where he fake one way, fake the other, and then he slam it on you.
Yeah, so they don't want this. They don't want the centers. They don't want centers to win MVP. I don't even think they want forwards to win the. And if somebody is to do, but I will say this in Joker's defense, if there is a center in today's game to win MVP, it's him because of his ball handling, his passing, like what he can, how he plays his game at the 5. It would be him if there's any center to do it. I just don't know that they want that.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. I just got one more thing basketball related, and that's Kevin Durant's return to the lineup for the Nets. I know we had a great game this afternoon against Minnesota, the game that was supposed to play yesterday. I think he dropped 35 points, and then I think the game before he went 5 for
some
5
crazy
from the
like
field.
I think he did something. Didn't he do something crazy like 22 points in 27 minutes or some crazy, like he's been really efficient since he's been back.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Kevin Durant is back. I see no slowdown in his game right now. And you might be
and no slowdown in his off court banter either.
Kevin Durant got time, man.
Yeah, he got time for all of it, apparently.
Yeah, just when you think he ain't, checking the Twitter, that man got time for you.
And for all intents and purposes, I'm here for it. I'm like, hey, bro, go ahead and get your shit off. If you still ball, if you balling and you still balling and got time to respond and running your media company and all those, hey, I'm here, bro. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. Do what you want to do,
man.
And Shannon Sharp, you misquoted my man. You misquoted KD, bruh. They said you misquoted KD. That's what Shannon. Yeah, so don't misquote KD, Shannon Sharp.
ABM, Doc Bell in our Facebook live chat. I see you, ABM. He says post game is necessary. It's just that all the bigs want to play outside and it's soft, and that's why the league has kind of gotten away from true centers. So, but good point about the bigs, wanting to play outside. It's a fast game now. It's an up and down, fast paced game.
Yeah, but I think the NBA designed it. I think they're designing it that way. I don't think that. I will agree that that players want to shoot threes. I think centers have always wanted to shoot threes. That's just my personal opinion. I think centers have always wanted to shoot threes. But now they're just flat out doing it. But I think the NBA wants these players to score points. I mean, the earliest example I could think of is the Suns. Remember that Steve Nash Suns team, and who was the center?
It wasn't really a true.
I guess Stoudemire. I mean, if you want to,
Amari played the 5 in certain moments, but he wasn't a true 5.
And they was loving that, all that running around, and they was loving that. And I think that's what sparked the NBA to say, "Ooh, we want this. We want Bama's running all over the court. Yeah, we want Bama's running all over the court.
Yeah,
we can steal some dunks and rebound, and then we catch the rebound and go. Like I think that's what they. I think that's what they want to see.
It all started with those mid 2000 Suns teams. It all
that's
started
what they
there.
think. Yeah, that's what they think fans want to see. And,
Yep.
I mean, when the last healthy 88 to 87, 80, you know what I'm saying? When was the last game like that? When the Pistons in 04 was doing their thing. Like when was the last healthy 90 to 87 game? Yeah, I can't remember the last time I seen one of those.
Pistons. I tell you what, those Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Grizzlies from like the early 2010s, they were playing those kinds of games too. Those 88 to 90 type games, but they were too slow. In the end, they were just too slow. So,
Mm-hmm.
but shout out to my wife Debbie in the chat on Facebook Live. I appreciate
What's
you
happening?
giving us the support, baby. Love you. Also, Mocha Bella, want to shout out her too. She's in
What's
Facebook
happening?
Live chat also.
You should have said Mocha Bella first and then your wife, because then it sounded like you wasn't even excited to see Mocha Bella.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm excited to see
playing.
everybody.
I'm just playing.
ABM Doc Bell, his MVP list is Joker, Embiid, Harden, and take your pick.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I guess I don't watch it. I haven't watched enough of it. Like game by game.
Because you've said on many occasions this season that you just haven't been paying much attention to the games.
Yeah, I mean, I catch it when I can. I catch it like, oh, flipping, ooh, all right, that's on. Let me watch that real quick. But
yeah,
I watch my Wizards be trash, or like
that still upsets me. But
I just wonder, man. I just wonder if this is that type of year, because they don't want to give it to 5, that they would just 3P Giannis. I truly do just wonder that type of stuff.
What about co-MVPs? When's the last time that's happened in the NBA?
I've never been a fan of co-MVPs.
No, I'm with
somebody.
You. I didn't like when Steve McNair had to split the MVP with Peyton Manning that one year.
Yeah.
You know.
Just give it to somebody, or don't. Like the fuck. Like,
yeah.
Somebody's going to disagree. Both people didn't deserve it. Yeah, just give it to somebody.
Like this might be the year where somebody wins it based off of their performance down the stretch and how close they could bring their team up to like maybe the top 4 in the conference or something like that. I think it's going to come down to that.
I hear you.
Like I've seen people's MVP list include Dame Dollar on it.
Yeah.
Hell,
Chris Paul. I've been seeing for the past 2 or 3 weeks, Chris Paul ain't getting enough MVP love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because everywhere Chris Paul goes, he improves the basketball team just in terms of efficiency.
Sure. He's one of the truest point guards to ever play the game. So
I would have to give it to Booker before I gave it to Chris Paul, though.
Really?
If you're just talking that particular team, I would have to give it to Booker before I gave it to Chris Paul.
Okay. I'll say this, and I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with you. But I'll say this: the Suns wasn't in position like they were until Chris Paul got there.
I agree with that point 100%. I'm just looking at the game of Devin Booker and that.
And Devin Booker was scoring all those other years.
That is true. That is true. Just another comment here from ABM. He says Giannis doesn't have a chance to win MVP. The Bucks aren't the same team, and he's missed a lot of time. Agree in terms of the time that he's missed, and it's not really due to injury. It's just that they've been just resting him, for a certain number of games here. I don't see Giannis winning it. I just
look. I hope I'm wrong. Let's be clear. But I would not be surprised. They've been trying to crown Giannis for about a good 3 or 4 years. They've been trying to crown Giannis as the next big thing in the NBA. And he continually doesn't deliver, but they keep giving him MVP and Defensive Players of the Year. And I wouldn't be surprised that they just ride with their mans, because I truly think that the NBA believes in Giannis.
Yeah. And
this is not, and by the way, let me be clear. This is not I think Giannis has been good this year pick. This is who I think the NBA might just pick because nobody's outshining somebody else.
Right.
Outside of Joker. But again, I don't think the NBA wants a 5 to win MVP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. I can certainly see that. I'm just sitting here thinking the numbers that Giannis has put up, they're not better than Joker. They're not better than Embiid's numbers right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, and I know you said you wouldn't be surprised, but I just have a hard time believing that they want to give it to Giannis again for the third consecutive
Yeah.
year.
I don't know, man.
I,
I've
I,
seen shadier things in sports organizations.
yeah, good point. It's politics in it. As Jay-Z say, politics as usual. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. I just got a few shout outs to make before we close out. If you got nothing else, Maestro.
Nope. My eyes are
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, so shout out to Microwave John Fisher. And many people that don't know, I took a trip to Atlanta, me and the family did over the week, and Microwave was nice enough to have me come on his show, for a couple of hours and, just talk sports and things like that. So I just want to show him some love for doing that.
Yes, sir.
And right after, or just as I was leaving his house, Chief Rocker, Jersey Vern, calls him and says, "Hey, make sure you tell Trey to call me." So I was like, and so Microwave was like, "Hey, Trey, Chief says for you to call him." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I get on the phone with the Chief Rocker, Jersey Vern, and he's like, "Yo, man, you gotta, in his Tone Loc voice, he's like, hey, man, you gotta, come out to the crib, man, and
that's
do
how
the
he
show with me,
sound.
man." I'm doing a bad impersonation of Tone Loc,
Okay.
but y'all
And
get
the
the
Chief
point.
Rocker.
but y'all get the point. He wanted me to come by if I had the opportunity to, and this was on Tuesday that I did Microwave show. So fortunately, I was able to make some time for Chief Rocker on Wednesday. Went to his crib, he doing his show for about 2-3 hours, and that was awesome also. So I just want to shout out both of those brothers for allowing me to sit on their platform and talk some sports.
Yep.
And I don't want to forget about Tyler Butler also. That was a fantastic interview that we did with him the other day. If you guys missed it, y'all could check it out on Instagram. I uploaded it's a couple of videos because we did part 2 of the Deshaun Watson conversation. So all that stuff is on our Instagram. It's also
and YouTube.
Oh, go ahead, Maestro.
I was saying it's on YouTube as well, and
on YouTube, yes.
And then we had the part 1 is on streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So shout out to everybody that supports this show. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of our Facebook Live and our YouTube Live viewers. Make sure y'all continue to support. Click the like button on the Facebook page. Click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget you can follow us on social media on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. You can also follow us on our Twitter handle at Barbershop SPOR2. And if you guys got any questions or comments about the show, you can email us at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So, Maestro, if you got nothing else, man, I got nothing else either, bro.
All right, bro.
No doubt. Y'all have a good week. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Love.